Hello, this is Tim. Book 2 for June. Um, we were 8 years in power, and this is the book I think I'm going to do for July. So this is what's coming up. Okay, hold it upside down. This is what's coming up. Policing the Black Man, and I'm going to specifically read an essay about policing black boys. That's going to be book 1 for July. But in this, we're reading from A Case for Reparations by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So let's get into it. Excuse the noise, people outside, neighbors. A lot of people fell by the way. Speculators in North Lawndale and at the edge of the black ghettos knew there was money to be made off white panic. They resorted to blockbusting, spooking whites into selling cheap before the neighborhood became black. They would hire a black woman to walk up and down the street with a stroller, or they'd hire someone to call a number in the neighborhood looking for Johnny May. Then they cajole whites into selling at low prices, informing them that the more blacks who moved in, the more the value of their homes would decline, so better sell now. With these white fled homes in hand, speculators then turned to the mass of black people who had streamed northward as part of the Great Migration, or who were desperate to escape the ghettos. The speculators would take the houses they just bought cheap, do blockbusting, and sell them to blacks on contract. To keep up with his payments and keep his heat on, Clyde Ross took a second job at the post office and did a third job delivering pizza. His wife took a job working at Marshall Fields. He had to take some of his children out of private school. He was not able to be at home to supervise his children or help them with their homework. Money and time that Ross wanted to give his children went instead to enrich white speculators. The problem was the money, Ross told me. Without the money, you can't move. You can't educate your kids. You can't give them the right kind of food. Can't make the house look good. They think this neighborhood is where they're supposed to be. It changes their outlook. My kids are going to the best schools in this neighborhood, and I couldn't keep them in there. Maddie Lewis came to Chicago from her native Alabama in the mid-40s. When she was 21, persuaded by a friend who told her she could get a job as a hairdresser, instead she was hired by Western Electric, where she worked for 41 years. I met Lewis in the home of her neighbor, Ethel Weatherspoon. Both had owned homes in North Lawndale for more than 50 years. Both had bought their houses on contract. Both have been active with Clyde Ross in the Contract Buyers League's effort to garner restitution from contract sellers who'd operated in North Lawndale, banks who backed the scheme, and even the Federal Housing Administration. We were joined by Jack McNamara, who'd been an organizing force in the Contract Buyers League when it was founded in 1968. Our gathering had the feel of a reunion because the writer James Allen McPherson, who profiled the Contract Buyers League for The Atlantic back in 1972. Weatherspoon bought her home in 1957. Most of the whites started moving out, she told me. The blacks are coming. The blacks are coming. They actually said that. They had signs up, don't sell to blacks. Before moving to North Lawndale, Lewis and her husband tried moving to Cicero after seeing a house advertised for sale there. Sorry, I just sold it today, the realtor told Lewis's husband. I told him, you know they don't want you in Cicero. Lewis recalls, they ain't going to let nobody black in Cicero. In 1958, the couple bought a home in North Lawndale on contract. They were not blind to the unfairness, but Lewis, born in the teeth of Jim Crow, considered American piracy. Black people keep on making it, white people keep on taking it. A fact of nature. All I wanted was a house, and that was the way I could get it. They weren't giving black people loans at the time, she said. We thought this is the way it is. We're going to do it till we die, and they ain't never going to accept us. That's just the way it is. The only way you were going to buy a home was to do it the way they wanted, she continued, and I was determined to get me a house. And if everybody else can have one, I want one too. It's weird because everybody else didn't have one. Most people always rented. I had worked for white people in the South, and I saw how these white people were living in the North, and I thought, one day I'm going to live just like them. I wanted cabinets and all these things these other people have. People still think like this. Whenever she visited white coworkers at their homes, she saw the difference. I could see we were just getting ripped off, she said. I would see things and I would say, I'd like to do this at my house. And they would say, do it. But I would think, I can't because it costs us so much more. I asked Lewis and Weatherspoon how they kept up on payments. You pay it and you kept working, Lewis said of the contract. When that payment came up, you knew you had to pay it. You cut down on the light bill, cut down on your food bill, Weatherspoon interjected. You cut down on things for your child. That was the main thing, said Lewis. My oldest wanted to be an artist, and my other wanted to be a dancer, and my other wanted to take music. Lewis and Weatherspoon, like Ross, were able to keep their homes. The suit did not win them any remuneration. Excuse me, I don't know why I stuck on that word. Remuneration, but it forced contract sellers to the table, where they allowed some members of the Contract Buyers League to move into regular mortgages or simply take over their houses outright. By then, they'd been built for thousands. And talking to Lewis and Weatherspoon, I was seeing only part of the picture, the tiny minority who'd managed to hold on to their homes. But for all our exceptional ones, for every Barack and Michelle Obama, for every Ethel Weatherspoon or Clyde Ross, for every black survivor, there are so many thousands gone. A lot of people fell by the way, Lewis told me. One woman asked me if I would keep all her china, she said. They ain't going to set you out. So it's a weird kind of thinking, wanting to live like what you think white people live like. I mean, lifestyle, to that. But it's not really life, and we're still kind of stuck in that. But we're coming out of it, and this is it, man. This is American real estate and housing policy. And when you hear it like this, it just sounds insane. Who would want to live like this? But yet we do. Thank you. I want to thank you for supporting me, and I want to say take care of your mind, take care of your body, and please be safe.